The Atlas Post Student Loan Relief and Forgiveness. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos implements today President Trump's executive order extending student loan relief through the end of the year for federal student aid, or FSA. Today's action extends action from the start of the coronavirus national emergency and maintained via law by the CARES Act. And I want to repeat, this is for federal student aid. If you are watching or listening to this video, you probably have a student loan or know someone with a student loan. So please share it with someone. It can help. Please take a moment to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to receive more updates about the stimulus, unemployment, loans, and personal finance. Today we're going to be talking about the student loan relief, and when you stay to the end, you'll discover some key info that can help you through the years. All borrowers with federally held student loans will have their payments automatically suspended until 2021 without penalty. The interest rate is set to 0%. Yes, the interest rate is set to 0%. This is for all federally held student loans and is through the end of the calendar year 2020. Borrowers can continue to make payments. So here's the great part. If you are thinking, I can pay off credit card debt that is at a higher rate and I don't need to make my student payments because it's at 0%, that is true. If you continue to make payments, you will also knock down the principal a whole lot faster because you have 0% interest. During the payment suspension, collections on defaulted federally held loans are still halted. If you defaulted federally held loans and your employer continues to garnish your wages, you will receive a refund, but they don't tell you when. Non-payments by borrowers working full-time for qualifying employers will count toward the 120 payments required by the Public Service Loan Forgiveness programs, and as payments that are required to receive forgiveness under an income-driven repayment plan. What exactly does that mean? Well, according to Forbes, DeVos says Trump's student loan suspension counts towards loan forgiveness. Here's it quite simply. Non-payments by borrowers working full-time for qualifying employers will count toward the 120 payments required by the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. There's the forgiveness. That's 120 payments required by the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. And one thing before we start getting into some of the details is that the student loan forgiveness is an option for federal student loans. If you have a private student loan, it does not cover you. I want to make that really important. This is for public or federal student loans. If you have a private student loan, this does not include you. But you may be able to get a student loan repayment benefit through your employer, or you can also refinance. So refinancing could help lower your interest rate. And this is, I'm going to give you the link for this story from Fox Business. This is from Credible, and on there you can compare student loan refinancing lenders, and it's really kind of handy because you see their fixed APR or annual percentage rate, their variable APR. You can find your rate, you can do estimations based on your credit score, and it shows you everything laid out, and you can look on their website and find out more information. So that's pretty nifty, and including your student loan refinancing calculator. And even if you get your loan payment lowered, you can always make more payments, but it gives you some little flexibility so that you are only obligated to a lower amount. Okay, here's the part I want to share with you. On this article for Fox Business, it says the good news on the payment suspension towards some loan forgiveness. It says temporary student loan forbearance under the CARES Act won't count against you for student loan forgiveness. This is according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And suspended payments still count towards student loan forgiveness as long as all other conditions of the forgiveness programs are met. So the biggest question is, what are the conditions? Now this is where you have to read your paperwork, but first of all you have to have an eligible loan that actually qualifies for public service loan forgiveness. If you have a private loan, this does not include you. So if you had direct loans that you were paying off prior to the CARES Act, any suspended payments through the federally mandated grace period won't count against you. So one of the things I want to tell you is I have a colleague that did this before from the last disaster, and she was told that it would not count against her if she took a forbearance on her student loans. And she believed them, and it did count against her. So I'm telling you that even though it says this, make certain you put it in writing, because my colleague still had it affect her credit. And this is kind of like an SBA loan. It stays with you for life. So then they figured you weren't making your payment. And even though you think that it's fine, I don't even, you know what I mean? Try and make some type of payment if you can, because the interest rate is 0%. Anything that you do will count towards the principal. But I mean, understand that you have to weigh everything to see if you can, and you're hoping that this will be right. So here's part of it is, if you have to and cannot make the payments, just document everything. So if in the case that it does affect you, you can go ahead and send out supporting documentation. So if it hits your credit report, you have the information on there too. So if you're qualifying for the student loan forgiveness, you have to have an eligible loan, first of all, like we mentioned, and you have to be employed full-time in an eligible public service job during the forbearance period. And you have to recertify employment for the PSLF, or Public Service Loan Forgiveness. And here's a great part about this, is because this is, shall we call it, coronavirus times. Even if you are working for a public service, I know of people that are working for government entities, and they may be needed in a different area to work, which means, you know, each job has a certain payment. So they may not be getting paid what they were getting paid before, but they're still employed, but they're not getting paid what they were doing before. So your student loans, you can apply with your updated income to lower your interest payments. And here it is, you must recertify income for income-driven repayment. And if you recertify and you receive a lower monthly payment, which may be calculated, that is what you can take with you. Well, how should we say it? They'll just recalculate your payments, which will extend for a very long time. I don't know how often you have to recertify your income, but here's a great part is, it may last you a while. So the CARES Act allows federal student loan borrowers to take advantage of a 6-month extension. And according to Fox Business, it says this could have a significant impact for some people, since it may change the income numbers that will be used, which will be the most recent tax return on file. So like I said, I don't know how long this will stay with you, but I don't know about you. Everybody likes to get their interest payments lowered, or the obligation of payment lowered. You can always, of course, pay more. It's kind of like when you're doing your loan payments for your house. If you have a house that's on a 30-year mortgage, you can repay it faster to pay it off in 15 years. But if you get a 15-year mortgage for your house, then you have to make those payments. If you don't make those payments, then it counts against you. So that's why it's better. You get the lower payment and then pay more. It works out better. Anyway, thanks for joining us at the Atlas Post. Please share this video with a friend or somebody it can help. And if you find this helpful, please like our video, make comments, check out our playlist, and subscribe for the latest updates. Thanks for supporting our channel, the Atlas Post, on Patreon, as well as Buy Me a Coffee. And tap into your news with the Atlas Post. Have a joyful day and a great weekend. Stay cool.